Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 3 and this is an epic best of 3, that much I know, and it is between two exceptionally good Korean players. So up in the top left position, spawning as the red Zerg player, we have Lucky. And his opponent spawning in the bottom right, the blue Terran, who's playing under the name Reaper King, but I can assure you is actually Apocalypse. So this CVT is probably going to be actually one of the best ones I have cast this week. Maybe not this week, maybe just actually in quite a long time, because this is going to be really sensational. I think this is kind of at, if not above, WCS level in terms of quality of player. So definitely looking forward to what these two are going to be throwing out. For the moment, just the supply depot coming down here for Apocalypse. He's not doing anything too crazy. Lucky, probably just going to go for a 15 hatch, 16 pull, to be honest with you, because that's what you do against Terran, and it's all good. And Belshir is the sort of map where you can get away with that. The Overlord positioning, I'm going to be interested to see where these go. One should come and position itself sort of up here, ready to check natural timings, those sort of things. The second Overlord, interestingly, getting rallied all the way over, coming down the side, and is then going to just come and position itself outside the main, ready to be sacrificed in to get a scat out of tech. Apocalypse is getting down a refinery though. With the barracks there, is he going to live up to his name of Reaper King? He very well could. Interestingly, Lucky here, just making sure there's no proxy 11-11-2 racks. Just sending that drone out first before taking the hatchery, just to make sure he's safe. So I think that's a really smart move, because this is actually a really common place to chuck down those two barracks, because if you just rally a drone out, it comes down here, so you can actually hide them up in this position. So that's all really smart moves, but of course we do have the gas starting to get extracted. We've got Lucky just sitting down that hatchery, also getting down a gas of his own, so this is all very normal. The gas is before the pull though, that's something that's worth noting. That means Zergling speed will come out quicker, but clearly his queens will get delayed, production gets a little bit of a hit from that, but nothing too much to worry about. We do now have, of course, the first Reaper on its way out, now getting rallied across the map. This Overlord is absolutely critical for Lucky though, because this comes in, it's going to see that, yep, there's no command center down, and that basically means that it can't be a one rack CC or CC first, and that there's going to be some kind of pressure coming. Can't identify that it is a Reaper yet, because, well, the gas timings can't be seen, but may actually catch the Reaper coming out depending on where this Overlord moves next. I don't think it's going to quite catch it with the rally position, because it will just come and jump down that little bit of cliff there, but now with the SCV coming out, going to just be a big giveaway that the command center is about to be thrown down. So this is really what Lucky would want to see. He knows this is coming. He's moving up into the main actually with this Overlord, just towards the back. Needs to be careful not to get that sniped off with the Marine if it was following up, but Apocalypse, he's just following this up with a second Reaper. Going to be trying to do a little bit of damage. One Reaper is generally just used for some scouting information, poking and prodding, doing anything that really they can get away with. Two Reapers is definitely a commitment to trying to kill stuff, because even with the combat drugs, you do have to try and do quite a lot, and if you don't kill drones, you want to force a lot of lings, so you want to be kiting those back. On creep, it's near impossible to kite those Zerglings though, so the Reaper just going to do a little dance around. If it goes off creep though, can just start trying to pick these off, can go for the nice little stutter step micro, and of course behind this, Apocalypse is just getting down the factory, getting down the reactor, doing everything pretty normal, and the combat drugs will start healing up that Reaper. The second one joining his buddy, no third one in production, so it's just the two Reapers. It's not like a Reaper rush or anything crazy like that. With the queens coming out, they are going to have to be a lot more careful. A third queen is also in production. That's just going to help make sure that actually these Reapers are pushed back, but also going to help get some good creep spread going. And wow, Apocalypse going up for a third CC really quick. So the Reapers giving him map dominance, and what he's doing is he's using that map dominance to be greedy, take an additional expansion, and generally have everything going the way that he would hope. Now, factory is going to come down here and try and land, but great positioning by this Zergling is going to be delaying those Hellions coming out, and the Reaper's going to have to come back, but this is actually quite a sizable delay. That was about 6-7 in-game seconds, really frustrating there for Apocalypse, and just a nice little win, that kind of real minor point that can actually be really beneficial. But forward now comes those Zerglings. They're just trying to put on a bit more pain. Two Hellions on the way out. Good follow-up push from these two Reapers is to just get 4 Hellions and then start moving in. They deal very effectively with only Zerglings, but as we see, the Zerglings are going to actually get a kill on an SCV here. That's always a big win. Just going to be a little bit frustrating. The Reaper's going to dance up and down the cliff there, trying to pick everything off. Lucky, meanwhile, taking his third. He still isn't mining any more gas. He literally got Zergling speed down, then pulled out. So, isn't going to be going up for any super quick tech. Just wants to be droning quite heavily. Only thing you need to know is whether these Reapers are on the way. Hasn't sacrificed in this Overlord yet. Probably will do in about the next minute. This Overlord can't really see anything too useful. Just sees that something was coming down there. Gonna come in though. Sees the starport with the tech lab coming down. This is post-patch, so that is 100 on Cloak, but it's not yet getting researched. So the Banshee is going to be hitting the field. This is actually quite a nice little composition, but without Cloak at the moment, it's not as difficult to deal with. But as we see now, double evolution chamber wall off starting to come here at the natural. Are we going to see a spine crawler? Potentially. A lot of it just depends on what Lucky sees and whether he feels that he needs to go for that. The Overlord as well, what else did it see? Didn't see the factory there, but obviously that was already known about from the Zergling that came up earlier, which blocked it landing. The third CC, I don't know if that's been seen. Let's take a look at his vision. No, Lucky has not seen that third orbital command, but regardless, knowing that there's a tech lab on that starport, spore coolers getting started. All looking pretty nice here. Gonna make sure that the Banshee doesn't do too much. The Reapers and Hellions, however, could get a nice little win. +1 carapace getting started, +1 melee or +1 missile attack. There's not enough gas to start that quite yet. Can start it pretty soon though, so gonna keep an eye out. But for the moment, most of those minerals just being pumped into getting more Zerglings out, just to make sure that this push doesn't do too much. Massive, great supply depot wall off coming in the natural, and yeah, Apocalypse is going to be moving in. He's going to try and get in a good little spot to deal some damage, potentially to the third base, which has 3 queens defending it, but that's really all. And even with some good transfuses, only one of the queens has enough energy for that, but good surround with those Zerglings. Are they going to be able to start picking off some of the Hellions? The answer is yes, they can, but still quite a few more there. The Hellions pulling back, trying to pick off the Zerglings as quickly as possible, but the Banshee took a considerable amount of fire. Super important there, because the Banshee getting down to just a third health is going to have to go back and get repaired up. It should get repaired because obviously it's very expensive. You want to try and keep that as high as possible. No SCVs getting pulled, but there is that second Banshee with a third on its way down. Now Baning Nest coming, Lair coming, all looking quite good up here for Lucky. He defended that pretty nicely, but his drone count isn't as high as he might like because he was forced to make a lot of lings. He still got 27 out after losing a considerable number. But all in all, pretty low losses, but the next wave of this push is going to be a lot more devastating potentially. The Hellions trying to get in a position where the Zerglings aren't able to get a good surface area, but as we can see, the Zerglings and the Queens able to clean up these Hellions pretty damn quick. Only 1 remaining. The 2 Banshee are still a threat, but with 3 Queens here, now 2 with enough energy to transfuse, they're going to have a tough time trying to push forward. So all in all, Lucky is doing a great job of denying Apocalypse from being able to deal some damage. Apocalypse so far this game is only, well, he hasn't actually killed a single worker. Wow. In this very aggressive strategy, no workers killed isn't too good. Interesting bunker placement here if it does go down. That's going to interrupt mining from one of those mineral patches, but still, Apocalypse, he's continuing on with the pain. He's going to try and start picking off some creep tumors, deny that spread coming forward, really trying to keep the map dominance here, but Lucky doesn't care about that. He's getting down his hatchery. He's got his spire coming down, so it's going to be 3 base with a macro hatch, Ling, Bling, Mutalisk. 2 upgrades are on the way, +1 melee attack was obviously started a lot later. And that was all due to the fact that a lot of Zerglings were needing to come out, and as a result, there wasn't the minerals to really get that started quite as quickly as Lucky would have wanted. But one Zergling coming down now does scout out the third base. Really important, because knowing that third is there just means that straight away Lucky knows he's got to take a 4th, and that's immediately what he does. Instant reaction there, 4th base coming down, wanting to stay a base up as a Zerg against a Terran. So this is all looking really good and really nice at the moment for both of these 2 players who are incredibly equally matched in skill, at least it seems for the moment. Some Zerglings are going to try and get this round on the Hellions again. They do grab a couple, but of course the Banshee dealing a nice amount of damage. There are 4 Banshee now out on the field. This is a mech build, kind of looking like a mech build anyway from Apocalypse, but in terms of the scouting information, Lucky hasn't seen that it's a lot of barracks coming down behind this. The Banshee going to try and force the cancel on this 4th, are able to get it. That is a big win right there for Apocalypse, because Lucky now is going to be on equal bases, and if these Mutalisks, that 11 of them queued up, don't deal some nice damage, then actually Apocalypse's economy is looking fairly healthy. He's only a couple of SCVs behind, but what he does have is those mules. And mules, of course, are going to more than make up for that. A drop also getting queued up, ready to start going in. These 4 Banshee probably going to get repaired just to make sure that they stay as really good as they can. And this tech switch, it could really throw off Lucky in terms of what he's doing, because he is getting the Roach Warren down and also that infestation pit, thinking that, oh, is this mech? He hasn't really seen many Marines. He hasn't seen those barracks coming down, so in all honesty, he doesn't know that it's infantry. He also hasn't seen the upgrades. 2-2 already getting started up here when 1-1 is only done for Lucky. So the upgrade lead is going to be going in Apocalypse's favour. There will be +2 carapace done in time though for Lucky. He just doesn't have +2 melee attack because he doesn't quite know what's going to be happening here. The Mutalisks engaging head up into these Marines. Bit of a misstep here. The Mutalisks are going down pretty quickly, and of course that's because those Stim Marines are 1-1. They deal a lot of damage. The Mutalisks being forced to pull back. 11 came out, remember. The drop in the main base is coming down too, yet all of Lucky's army is down to the 4th. This is going to do a nice amount of damage. The Queen's not getting focused yet, but they probably will do, just in order to try and make sure that the injects don't come down. The production of Lucky's hurt. Simultaneously, the 4th base, Apocalypse is pushing into there, trying to deal as much damage as he can, force another cancel, but Banelings are now out. If they get some good connections, it'll be huge. Apocalypse is starting to pull back, but the flank from behind is going to get the connections that are needed. The main base is now getting cleaned up after that drop. Both Queens went down though. That's going to hurt the production and the 4th, and that's the critical thing. The 4th base was taken out or forced to cancel. I didn't see which, but that just simply means that Apocalypse is still on equal basis. He's getting up his 4th command center as well before the 4th for Lucky's even secured. Worker count is now in Apocalypse's favor. That is huge, absolutely massive, and to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a really difficult spot for Lucky to come back from. He needs to get some really critical Baneling hits in order to take out the Marines and get those good engagements, but as it stands, I'd say Apocalypse is definitely sitting in a nice spot. His 2-2 is about to kick in, and +2 melee attack hasn't even started yet for Lucky. That's because they were out of time. It may have got a bit confusing. This drop has been cleaned up in the main base because units were still sitting around there. But all in all, this game is looking a bit in the Terran's favour. A very tough position for Lucky to be in at the moment, especially when he's just sitting on Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk. Yes, the infestation pit's done, but the hive hasn't been started. That means no tech up into Ultras. The pathogen glands upgrade not begun yet, so the infestors can't even start coming out and helping there. And altogether, with 2-2 now done as well, there's the upgrade lead as well for Apocalypse. Things are looking pretty dire for the Swarm, but the Mutalisks are going to try and put an end to that. They're coming forward. They're just going to come straight up into the main. There are a couple of missile turrets down, but well, 16 Mutalisks, they can focus them out very fast. They've got +1 air weapons, of course, remember. The missile turret getting instantly vaporized before the repair can go down on it. A couple of Marines are dropping down there trying to pick up some Overlords, but the Marines coming back to deal with the Mutalisks in the main base. A couple more workers killed, but without doubt, Lucky would have wanted quite a bit more there. The Overseer does get popped, supply blocking Lucky momentarily. And I say momentarily, the Overlord's only just starting up now, so that's about a 30-second supply block coming down. Really not something that Lucky would have wanted. More Overlords getting picked off. He's going to need to make more than 2 now to break that supply block, so this is now becoming pretty massive, and giving Apocalypse a chance to catch up in terms of supply. He's only 4 behind. The Widow Mines as well, getting some nice hits off. The Overseers being essential to really try and deal with those Widow Mines that are scattered around. Drilling Claws is done for them. The Banelings are coming forward. They didn't get the connect, though, to kill off the Marines. The Marines just sitting there. Burrow Banelings. Are the Burrow Banelings going to detonate? This could be terrible for Apocalypse. If he moves his army forward towards that 4th, the damage would be devastating. The Widow Mines going further forward. This could be fairly huge, and here come the Marines. Are they going to get detonated? Yes, they do. Big hits simultaneously down to the 3rd base. We can see that Zergling run by trying to come down, but those Burrow Banelings could have been the saving grace. The Widow Mines, though, clearing out the rest of the Banelings. The Mutalisks trying to engage, but there's too many Marines there. And the Marines, they're getting 3-3 down as well. The Zerglings are doing some nice damage here down at the 3rd base. The 4th command center was taken out somewhere. I'm not quite sure when that was taken out, but yeah, as it stands, Lucky now, he is just pushing forward. These Banelings starting to get some really good connections, good hot pick up there, trying to save as much as possible, but the Widow Mines getting cleaned out by these Mutalisks. Not quite sure when they're coming off cooldown, so trying to be very cautious. This one is off cooldown, but gets taken out before it's able to trigger, so that's good news. Some Banelings sitting up here at the moment, ready to take out anything that comes up towards that 4th. The Hive finishing up here for Lucky as well. 3-3 on the way down for Apocalypse, but the 4th base of Lucky is about to get sieged once again. There's so few Marines though, and the Banelings are going to get some good connects. They don't even need that. The Medevac's getting sniped down by the Mutalisks. This is a big problem. The Medevac fleet gets too low. Then suddenly the infantry isn't too helpful, but Apocalypse pushing in with a lot more Marines up behind this. He's just rallying across the map. Zerglings and Banelings going to try and pick up these reinforcements. The Widow Mine wasn't able to detonate on those Banelings, though. That means the Marines are still able to keep piling on the pressure. The Widow Mine does hit there on one of those Mutalisks, but well, Apocalypse is pushing in. He just needs to make sure these Banelings don't get good hits. Great pick up there, saving a good number of those Marines. Just what Apocalypse needed to do. Lucky, he's still piling on the pain though. 3-3 is just about to kick in though. That's really important because the Mutaflock is actually pretty, well, it's not that big, 13, and 3-3 Marines did very well against Mutas because Mutalisks don't tend to get their flyer carapace upgraded. Yes, there's +2 flyer attack, but that is all. 2-2's also done, so a solid upgrade lead again for Apocalypse here. It's a bit of a problem. The 5th base trying to get taken. We've also got Banelings rolling in towards the 3rd. The SCVs have to be so careful here. The Banelings as well don't want to detonate on anything too bad, and didn't actually do as much damage as that potentially could have done. 18 workers killed by Lucky so far this game, but Lucky up at 80 drones to 58 SCVs. There's no 4th command center, only the 3 orbital commands at the moment down for Apocalypse, so he needs to look to try and take this 4th because his main is mined out, and he's actually going to float his main over to the 4th base location, but this means Zerglings are going to come in and they are going to continually try and counterattack the 3rd base, looking a bit vulnerable. The Marines the wrong side of this ramp. Are they going to be able to get down there in time? Yes, they should be able to. And of course that damage coming in, but simultaneously Mutalisks into the main base. Lucky is piling on the pain, and from what was a very advantageous position for Apocalypse, suddenly Lucky starting to be looking to get in quite a good spot. The Marines are going to try and push these back. The missile turrets as well are going to help with all of this. A drop coming down at the 5th base location. That's just revealing to Apocalypse that it's there, but a drop of the 4th, that's a bit more of a problem, but the Banelings are going to come in. Good connections, that drop cleaned up very quickly indeed. The Mutalists coming in, they're going to be able to pick off that medevac. The medevac count currently only sitting at 7, so not that low, but also not that high. The 5th is getting whittled away at though, but Lucky doesn't care. He's going in for the counter-aggression. The 5th does get taken down. That supply blocks Lucky as well. And he doesn't have any more Overlords in production at the moment. The Mutalists trying to pick off the production facilities, focusing the add-ons first. Marines getting pulled back, trying to engage this. The aim here of Lucky is to make sure the Marine count doesn't get too high. Zergling's still sitting around at the 4th base location of Apocalypse. He needs to land that. He needs the additional income. The Banelings are there. They're going to start rolling forward. The Marines aren't being microed. Apocalypse's attention somewhere else. Big hits are going to start occurring. A couple of SCVs getting picked off here as well. The Mutalisks coming down forward. There's only a handful of Marines here. The Mutalisks can just engage head up. They're going to start picking off the medevacs most likely. A Baneling does detonate on those Marines, and suddenly Apocalypse is in a lot of trouble. Lucky, he's 60 supply ahead and still putting on the pain. A Burrow Baneling there did try and get their head off. Not quite killing the Marines because they did have better upgrades, but wow. This game, so intense, ridiculously intense, and as it stands now, Zerglings making their way forward. They're going to come straight in towards the natural, and as we can see, the supply depot wall-off is down. That means the main is going to start getting some Zerglings, picking away at reinforcements. This is just Lucky being relentless, but 3-3 Marines still quite well against 2-2 Zerglings. In come the Mutalists again, going to try and pick up a few more SCVs, but a good number of infantry units just sitting around here. But the Banelings coming in may have something to say about that. Can they get the connections needed? Apocalypse not able to split in time with that front row, but there's a good amount of Marines sitting at the back. That's going to force back the Mutalists once again. But wave 2 of Banelings making their way forward. The connections have to be good here. The infantry getting whittled down in number. The medevacs getting taken down. And now I think that was actually the last medevac. Only one sitting at the natural base. And of course that means stimming on these very injured Marines is going to become critically important. And if Apocalypse tries to risk too many stims, it could be a big issue. But now the Mutalists, they're coming forward. They're going to just start trying to engage these Marines. Got to be careful though, they don't have any flyer carapace upgrades, so that means the +3 infantry weapons is going to do a lot. But Zerglings still trying to push in, still trying to pick off reinforcements as they come through. The upgrades are now equal with 3-3 on both sides. Adrenal glands hasn't been researched yet though for this Zergling heavy composition from Lucky, which is quite surprising. And Lucky also doesn't yet have down that 5th again. Yes, the 4th is up and running. If we take a look at income, Lucky's just mining a hell of a load more gas, but that's not a problem for Apocalypse because he's got a lot banked up, and infantry obviously doesn't take that much. This marine heavy composition is just so mineral intensive. In come the Mutalists though. Gotta be careful in case there's any Widow Mines. That Overseer critical to this push coming in, and that is why it's sticking very firmly with everything. The Mutalists making their way forward. They're going to start trying to pick off these production facilities. The Banelings trying to get a few good connections, burrowing down as well. That means that these Marines could get taken out, but a great scan from Apocalypse. He's been stung once by those burrowed Banelings and is going to be very cautious that it does not happen again. So as it stands, the Mutalisks still trying to harass, still trying to get some damage down. 2 more burrowed Banelings just sitting at the side here, trying to bait those Marines in. The engineering bays are going to get taken out, but of course all of the upgrades are now done. Just a handful of Marines making their way over. That's not enough to warrant using those burrowed Banelings, but as more come over, the big burrowed Baneling hit is going to go down. Massive damage being done there. And that, of course, is seeing Reaper King, should I say, Apocalypse, going a long way down in supply. Lucky is still putting on the pain. He's still getting out these infestors, and this is the big thing. Fungal growths are going to become critically important now, but the 4th base is still up and running for Apocalypse. This is getting him that income he needs to keep producing units, to keep pumping out those Marines, and of course the 5th trying to get secured, but is attempting to get denied by this drop. There's not enough there. This medevac is unfortunately going to die, just going to drop the units out, knowing that it cannot get away, but only a few Marines get out to save the day. But of course, once they drop out, they get picked off by the Mutalisks anyway. So this is suddenly starting to look very much in Lucky's favour, but this can swing pretty quickly because the supply difference is only about 20. This 4th base taking a good amount of damage. If it's able to get taken out, that would be a huge loss, and it does go down. Suddenly Lucky's income is going to be next to 0. And that is a big loss for the Zerg. And suddenly now what was quite favourable for Lucky is looking pretty damn harsh, because without this 5th up quite yet, it could be a bit problematic. Good little fungal growth on that medevac. The infested Terrans are certainly going to make sure that goes down. Another fungal growth will confirm that its death is given. And the Marines, while they're all going down, the medevac is also going to fall. So yeah, this 4th base going down is Apocalypse bringing himself back into this game. He has got income. Look at that difference. It's huge. Lucky is mining, long distance mining from the 4th. So he's got hardly anything coming in. Apocalypse has. That is the huge thing. But the 5th base is now up and running. Drones getting transferred down there. But suddenly the supply is very close. This game could still go either way. The fungal growths need to be good. The baneling hit needs to be good. The widow mines for Apocalypse have to clean out those banelings as quickly as they can. This game is just too close to call at the moment. And this is only game 1, remember, of a best of 3. This series looking to be absolutely spectacular. And still, Lucky, he's just trying to come back in with these Mutalisks. Pick off the reinforcements that are coming in. But oh, big widow mine hit. Another big widow mine hit. Those Mutalisks very low on health. If one more had gone off, and there is one more there, that would have killed the entire flock of Mutas, I think. That would have been devastating for Lucky, and potentially would have just flat out won the game for Apocalypse. But the infestors trying to get some fungal growth off. Need to be careful not to waste the banelings on just a couple of Marines. Reinforcements still coming over. Apocalypse now ahead in terms of supply, 184 to 152. Very close game. Everything to play for in this first game, because then you've got that advantage. You can go for something risky in the second game. The Mutalisks trying to come through, but with Marines there, with missile turrets there, and of course the Mutalisks still very low on health. One does go down. The Widow Mines slowly creeping forward. Buried infestors there, but they get seen. Widow Mine hits go off. 2 infestors get taken out. A 3rd one even going down now. Good little scan there from Apocalypse, to be honest. That was a fantastic scan. The Widow Mines still creeping forward. A fungal growth tries to go down on them just to pick them off. Chain fungling as best they can. The Marines now coming forward. A couple of infestors are getting taken out, but all of that group of Marines does also die. Another fungal growth could go down. The infested tones being used just to soak up the damage there from the Widow Mines. The infestors moving forward. The banelings getting great connections, so this is what Lucky needed. If he gets that next group, which he can't quite, it would have been huge. The infestors getting the fungal growths, allowing those banelings to close up the distance, so important. But 4th base back up here now for Lucky. The 5th base is up and running, and that is up against the 4th only of Apocalypse. His 3rd is pretty much mined out, so he's mining off of 1 base, but the supplies only 4 difference. The infestors so critical. Those fungal growths have to be perfect, and that is what they're doing at the moment. The Mutalisks trying to pick this up, but a Widow Mine hit does get them. There's so many Widow Mines here as well. That's why the infested Terrans are getting thrown down to soak that up. Zergling streaming forward. The splits need to be good for Apocalypse's Marines. Is he going to be able to do it? He's got a couple of Marauders in the mix as well to help deal with these infestors. The infestor count slowly going down. Apocalypse manages to snipe off the 5th, and this now means Lucky's economy is once more not looking too comfortable. The baneling count very low. The fungal growth though doing a good job of picking off a nice number of these Marines, and of course Zerglings can clean up the rest. Apocalypse has got to be careful. He's going to come over here. He just scans, sees that 4th is up again, and he wants it dead. He knows this base can only last him so long. He does have about 700 minerals sitting at each mineral patch, so it's not deadly yet, but he does need to start looking to take additional bases. The natural floating down to come and take this 5th, but already the Mutalisks coming forward. That should stop anything coming too far close, because to be honest, if this Orbit Command goes over there without defense, it will get taken out. But that's why the Marines are making their way forward. They're making sure that these Mutalisks don't get any fun. But suddenly now, Apocalypse, he's trying to defend on both sides of the map. That is not too fun, because if he's trying to defend on both sides, these very nimble, very agile, zergling Mutalisk forces can just harass on the other side. He's got to be in two places at once. A whole bunch of burrowed infestors there. Are they going to be able to do anything good? Not yet. Scan's still going off, trying to get a good look at what's there. Where's everything going? All the infestors do have to be very careful. Scan sees them though. Sees just a couple of them, but now he knows they're there. He's going to chase them down. He knows where they've gone. The Widow Mines burrowing forward, and another scan goes off. The Widow Mines are going to get some massive hits. All the infestors get taken out. That is huge, but simultaneously the Mutalisks picking off the 4th base. The Orbital Commander is going to die. This 5th now is the lifeline for Apocalypse. He's ahead by 25 supply, but my goodness, this is all so close. I don't know my heart can take this at the moment. Action is going on absolutely everywhere. We've got additional missile turrets coming down to make sure those Mutants can't do too much, and the infantry pushing in towards the 4th. This is Apocalypse trying to end it. He's trying to take out this hatchery. Is he going to be able to knock it down? I think that yes, he will, because there just isn't enough here. Lucky down to nearly 100 supply. It's incredibly low. The Mutalisks are making up most of his army. The army supply count 122 to 73 in favour of the Terran player, and the 4th now down means that the income for Lucky, the gas income is 0. He's long distance mining from this 5th, but Apocalypse is pushing forward now with a 50 supply advantage. He's dealing as much as he can. These Mutalisks taking a good bit of damage. The Widow Mines trying to burrow. If they get some detonations off, which they will, a lot of Mutas will start to fall, getting very low on health. The 3rd base is now going to get taken down here. Admittedly, it's not mining, but it's the production that Lucky would have wanted. If only he had some money, but he doesn't. He's completely broke, and with only long distance mining income coming in, this is not looking too good for the Zerg. And yeah, Apocalypse, he's still pushing forward. He's dealing as much damage as he can here. The evolution chamber's going down. The natural is about to fall. The Mutalisks trying to counterattack, but can they deal enough? Base trading against this sort of force is not going to be too effective. And of course, Lucky still without any money. These drones are just running straight past the infantry. They are going to get taken out on their way back. The main is getting picked apart. The Mutalisks are flying straight over some Widow Mines, unfortunately taking some big hits. There's more Widow Mines down here, a lot of missile turrets, and as long as Apocalypse just doesn't lose this base, he'll be fine. The GG goes down, Lucky knows it, and that, ladies and gentlemen, means that Game 1 goes to Apocalypse. But as I said, Game 1 of a best of 3. I'll see you at Game number 2 in just a minute. Find it on my channel. But yeah, before you go, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, because this game was awesome.